So let's start with your name and your position.
I'm Jasmine Morrow. I'm the speech therapist in Gillum and Willard County.
And this is your first year.
This is my first year as a speech therapist, yes.
And prior to this, what practical experience did you have in schools?
I was a substitute teacher long-term, and I've been a teacher's assistant.
So the topic of this conversation is professional learning communities.
Mm-hmm.
So since September, you've been involved in this particular special ed speech language professional learning community. Tell me what you think of it, how it works.
I like that we meet once a month because it helps me see how our other districts that are further away are working, and also I get good resources. It's kind of like, okay, I'm having a problem with a student, and they help me solve my problem. It's not, even though I live in a rural community, it doesn't feel like that because I have resources that I can pull from. So I do like that.
Okay. Have you ever attended any sort of professional learning community in the past in any of your schools that you substituted long-term in?
No, this is the first one. Yeah, it's all pretty new to me.
Okay. So imagine looking back on these teachers' careers when they started, they didn't have this group. There wasn't one before.
No.
Can you imagine starting your career without this group?
If I had support systems like I do now, yes, but like I said, I'm in a rural community, and the closest school outside of this one is 20 miles, and the next closest school is like, I think round trip 76 miles, so no. If I have a good support system, yes, it would work, but if I was just out here, this is my first year teaching, if I was just out here by myself, then no, I don't think I would have had as much success as I do now.
So tell me, what are the aspects of this professional learning community that really work for you?
What really works for me is that a lot of the people that I work with, they're seasoned teachers, so they're at least 10 or 20 years older, and I like that because they have a lot more knowledge, and with this being my first year, I can pull from them. They have the experience and the school knowledge to help me in all the questions that I come up with. So.
Okay. Any other aspect of the way we run these monthly meetings that you find particularly helpful?
I like the iPad suggestions because usually I don't have time to add iPad apps, so this is the time where I add them because I get suggestions. They're like, oh, you're having a problem in this, I can help you. Here's a language app, here's an Arctic app. So it helps me because I don't have time to look for them, and they come with the sources already, so I just add them on my iPad, and that saves me a lot of time.
Is there any information that you pick up in these meetings besides how to teach or iPad apps? Other kinds of information that you get that you don't think you would get any other way?
I think I get a lot of my technology sources from here. Like I said, this is in a very rural community from where I came from, so I think a lot of the technology, which surprises me because you would think being in a rural place, the technology wouldn't be as up to date as it is in a bigger district, but to me it seems like we're more advanced than where I came from. So I think a lot of the technology is from just us wanting to be better and not feel so isolated. That's what helps me.
So let's say you got an administrator at one of the schools who they said, well, you don't teach with these people. Those people at that PLC don't really ever come to this school, so they don't understand why it would be valuable for you to meet with them. Shouldn't you be meeting with the people you actually work with in the school? What would you say?
Well, I think you should meet with the people that work in your school, but I also don't think you should limit yourself to just the people in your school, because a lot of the time schools get this one idea or this concept and they become like a family, and it's a continuum. But when you go outside, you learn other things. Like, you're not so closed-minded. It's always good to see what people are doing on the outside so you have different sources to pull from. Otherwise, if you keep it all in one, I don't see how you can learn that much just by being so closed-minded.
So if you're going to advise somebody to on how to start a professional learning community, what would you tell them? What would you advise them to do? What components would you say they really should have as part of their PLC?
An open mind. This is not for the closed-minded person, because if you're closed-minded, you're not really. I don't see how you would benefit from this. So you need an open mind, and your staff, teachers, parapros, they need to have an open mind too, and be willing when you bring the trainings to learn it and implement it. It doesn't do any good if you give the trainings and no one implements it. I think that's the biggest frustration, is if you put all this work into it and no one uses it. So be open-minded. Use the program how it's meant to be. Of course, have, flexibility. Don't be so rigid with it, but just be open-minded to using it.
Okay. And as far as our collaborative time and how our meetings are structured and how we come together and those kinds of things, are there any components of it that you think are really vital to a professional learning community?
I'd say the most vital is being open-minded, learning the different technologies that are out there, because that's how you're going to advance. I mean, most kids are raised on computers now, so I think the most vital part is learning whatever technology, whatever is the biggest thing, you need to learn it, because that's how you're going to reach your kids.
And do you imagine you could have learned all this new iPad stuff and all the software, and particularly the reporting software, without this group?
No, because they've been doing it longer than me. So no, I like my support group, because, like I said, I have most of the people, with a couple of them being close to my age or at least 20 years older, and so they have the experience and knowledge. So no, I don't think I would have been able to learn it as quickly. I would have learned it because, I grew up on computers too, but just having that comfort and knowing that, oh, I can just call or email one of them and they'll walk me through it, is a comfort for me.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.